Good morning. Coffee Conversations with Greg J is on. How y'all doing today? Everything good? Everything is good for now. Keep on striving, y'all. Keep the head up. Coffee Conversations is here to just bring you casually, culturally relevant discussions from a global perspective. You never know who we're talking to on these coffee conversations, but we have a wide variety of topics that we love to tackle from our global perspective. Today, I want to talk a little bit about public art. And this is a little Long Beach centric today, as we do originate in Long Beach, California, but we do broadcast across the world and we take on topics from across the world. But we want to just get down to our microcosm of society and talk about this notion of street art or public art. Some of y'all are still calling the murals that you see graffiti, right? But it affects communities all across the country. If you live, especially if you live in metropolitan areas, you do see public art and the beautiful murals beautifying communities everywhere. In the city of Long Beach, the whole mural or public art landscape is essential to the vibe of the city. And, being the board president of the Arts Council for Long Beach, I'm learning, it's more than a notion for the cities and the entities charged with producing these murals to, upkeep and maintenance and repair. Whether it comes down to how you maintain or repair these murals, or how do we abate real graffiti, when the street culture begins to erupt in certain communities, when they deface beautiful properties. This is what happened in Long Beach last week. There's a utility box in the 6th district, I believe, that had the Dr. Martin Luther King painted on it. It was adjacent to the King Park over there. And, gang families got together and expressed their situations on the face of Dr. King. And it's not the first time. The box was painted years and years ago, and it's really worse for wear. Probably need to replace that entire, box and start all over. But the essence was, first of all, the community was, outraged that this graffiti had defaced the beautiful mural painting on the utility box. And then the notion was someone used the Go Long Beach app, right? And then the city came out and just basically vanished the painting, painted the whole thing white. And, it's a very interesting conversation to have, like what happens in the city of Long Beach when we have historic pieces. And I'll give you a few more tidbits, and I've rambled quite a bit, but I think that gives you the backdrop of why we're having our discussion today. So I reached across, the Rolodex, and being on the board of the Arts Council for Long Beach, I'm working alongside some exceptional professionals in this space, and the director of public art is at the Arts Council has agreed to join me, and we're going to have this conversation. Her name, Cynthia Lujan. Let me see. There she is. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Cynthia, man, you got a big job over there, the director of public art at the Arts Council for Long Beach. And I've seen your database. There's a lot of public art out there. What is public art? First of all, it might be somebody be like, okay, what is public art?
Yeah, so, public art can be a few different things. It can be a painting, like a mural on a wall. It could be a sculpture installed like at the front of a building, or maybe like inside of a lobby area of outside of a building. It can be an installation where, stuff is like etched into the cement on the floor, like different, like poetry. You can see that all over Long Beach. Also, mosaics, can take the form of sculpture, furniture, and a wall mural. So, it can be a lot of different things. A lot of the times, in our public art archive at the Arts Council for Long Beach, we definitely see a lot of murals that are all throughout the city of Long Beach. So, yeah.
It's interesting because the whole mural piece is really important to the face of Long Beach. It's become known for its, mural activity around, I was describing for you the little mural that was on the utility box up there in the 6th District and got defaced by our brothers and sisters in the gang life. As, community was concerned. It ended up getting painted over. And folks want to know, right, what is the process? I know you're working in this space. And so if I see some graffiti, some gang graffiti, and I want it on a mural and I need it to be removed, I hit their Go Long Beach app, and I guess that goes to some department within the city, and they respond accordingly. Does the city, when they get these types of notifications, reach out to the Arts Council and say, hey, this is a historic, beloved piece in the community. Can you help us? Does that type of conversation ever happen?
Yeah, absolutely. And not just, the city sounds like ominous, right? But it's multiple departments reach out, council offices reach out. I think at times there have been communications from the mayor's office as well about, restoring public artworks and making sure that they're kept in shape and kept looking really good. And I saw your email last week advocating for us to come in and support with the restoration of this utility box project in District 6. And unfortunately, you reported back that it got whitewashed. And, in your introduction, you said, that the city had come over and painted it, allegedly, right? I think it's still kind of unconfirmed. I do know for a fact that the folks who come over and touch up walls all over the city, through the Go Long Beach app, that they do not touch any of the artwork. They always leave it. So as far as the vendor who goes out and paints the walls back to their original color on the businesses, they usually are not the ones who paint the artworks. And so we have had situations where 2 murals in North Long Beach got lost, one by Katie Phillips, and then another mural, and I forget where it was, but in District 9, I believe. And, both of those caused a lot of sadness in our communities. The mayor even was like, what happened to this mural? So, we really want to help where we can. And sad news from last week, but let's strategize on how to prevent losing cultural assets in our city.
Right. So on this one, we were able to confirm that somebody did use the Go Long Beach app and, to report it. I think what was surprising to me, the speed, I guess, in which the covering up occurred. But I do know that we were able to locate the artist. We had a conversation with her. She was able to get ready to go and begin removing the offending, art that was on the artwork. And that's when we discovered that someone had already came by and whitewashed the whole thing. And they did a sloppy job on top of that too. It was just no reverence, to that piece of community art. Now, I will say that speaking with Margie, the artist, she did indicate that, listen, I did that piece 12 years ago. It was under another city type program that they had. I've gone out 2 or 3 times and repaired it and even patched holes that were in the utility box. And the utility box is so old and weathered that, it probably was not even worth repainting an entire new art piece on there because of the source material was so damaged. But at the end of the day, I really think it's important to use this as a case study, because aren't you involved in the work of, like, aren't you surveying the land for as much artwork as you could find and cataloging it and everything?
Yeah. So for the last 9 years now, most of the time we've had an intern in the summer dedicated to helping us, add more and more information, do more and more research. And, I, with the limited time that I have, try to guide them and support in that research as well. And so it's definitely been a group team effort over, 9 years that we've been able to create this resource for the community that's free and available on our website at artslb.org. And it serves as a reservoir, I don't know, of like information, right, of history, so that we can track who our artists are, where their artworks are located, how did those projects come to be, trying to add some information as far as like who managed the project, and with the information we're able to identify, right? And we're constantly, sadly, losing artworks. We're constantly seeing new artworks come into play. And yeah, it's a great resource. We're really grateful and proud of being able to have this resource available to folks. And again, we help city employees identify, artists through it. We help to connect our different partners throughout the city if they were the ones who manage the artwork, and ask and request and advocate for restorations of those works that they have implemented and installed across the city. And, it's really a collaboration, right, to like help us keep the city looking good, and the artwork being maintained and everything. And so as some intel, the city of Long Beach doesn't have a mural ordinance program. It's because of that, and other reasons, like there isn't that much structure in the way that this public art landscape is currently. And I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. I think not having any red tape is nice. Like there is still like process and procedure, right? Or what you can, should, or shouldn't put up on a mural, as far as like, inciting violence or like drug paraphernalia. We've actually seen some of that. And it's like, hey, like, why is this up? We've gotten complaints from community members too. Like, hey, how did this get up? And, how do we help to, beautify our neighborhoods and empower local residents and local leaders to implement projects that they want to see, that they want to bring to their community, that they want to collaborate on. And those are different ways that we kind of help support and getting out the projects that they've implemented. But I'm really hoping in the near future to be able to also launch different grants through our executive director's support and guidance and permission, and creating more accessible and predictable and empowering projects that we could see across the city of Long Beach through a grant program. So that's in the works. Yeah.
Good stuff. Something very important you said really is about community communicating, what they want to see in their neighborhoods. That's very, very important. It's about participation, right? So the database of public art that you have there, you're saying that the public can come and let you know about different art pieces that may be in their communities, right, as they pop up? Absolutely, yeah. We very much appreciate getting firsthand intel from either the artist, the person who lives across the street, the neighborhood association, the council district themselves. Anybody is welcome to help us gather and research that information and add to
this collection of art that we have. Yeah. And, what I love about public art is that it belongs to everyone. And it belongs to no one, so it's like we really help to protect it together and invest in it together. Yeah.
That's very powerful. What if somebody says, okay, when I look around my district, or if I look on their website, I don't see my district represented. Why is that? Is that because people from that district may not be informing us, or are we servicing the district, in a strong enough manner? What is your professional opinion on something like that?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I would say, the most populated district with artworks is the beachside districts. And so, there's different reasonings for that. I think we can get into the politics of it, but I think that, it depends on like the urban landscape, really, right? Like it's more suburban in the east, and I mean east side, like District 5, District 3, it's more suburban. District 1 and 2, it's more like beach city, a lot more apartments, businesses. It's more walkable, I would say, right? And you can fight me on that, but definitely more walkable south of 7th Street, right? And so there's different reasoning. We have, as an arts council for Long Beach, really focused in on like the Cambodia Town corridor, also known as East Side, also known as Midtown. We've also focused on the Washington community along Pacific. These are two, disinvested communities that we work in collaboration with community leaders in implementing public art projects that help to make the place and space feel more accessible, inclusive, and beautiful, right? Like being able to like go out and walk around in your neighborhood. We have gotten that direct feedback from people that they feel safer. And, they are projects that are all community led. Like we really try to put youth voices, school representatives, students from schools, like parents at those schools, like keeping their opinions at the forefront. So yeah.
What would someone need to do, the community? How do they? So if somebody West Side Long Beach, North of Long Beach, how do those communities reach out to the Arts Council to create the environment you just said? Yeah, I mean, that's a really good aspect of community development, right? Is to start with arts and culture. And all over Southern California, it's not just Long Beach, all over the United States, there's probably communities that have not, traditionally, maybe there's a clash of cultures is how I'm going to describe that in these different communities, but that culture can be corrected, I guess, if you say, quote unquote, corrected through a empowering, arts-centered move of the people. I'm thinking out loud there, but I hope you're with me there to understand what I'm saying. Yeah. How would you envision that working?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think, and I was just talking about this with an artist community leader who does public art in Long Beach. You really can have the opportunity to connect with your local neighborhood associations. Really, that's where the power is, and the people power, right? Like they are able to advocate as a group to their council district. They're able to, apply for funding in different settings and work in collaboration with different departments. And really, it's a source for information, a resource for neighbors and residents themselves to like share skill sets, share opportunities. It just provides a stronger fabric and community interdependence. So
Mhm.
I think that we try ourselves to advocate for the growth of neighborhood associations, and in the projects that we do, trying to build that leadership as well. And as projects happen, like they're more informed of like different city processes. We're able to be stewards of public art and in collaboration with them, but we more know of the lingo and can advocate more in like terms that the city is used to, and we're essentially like a translator a lot of times. So yeah.
Let me ask you, so in the area of maintenance and repair of public artworks, what do we need to have happen to help improve the way that we go about mural maintenance and repair? What do you see needs to happen? Like when you're doing your work and you say, dang, I wish they would do this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have the case study here in the city of Long Beach through the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Marine. We had a stronger, base group, but right now it's still currently a program where there is a city mural maintenance program for parks-led murals. And, a lot of those murals got installed through the 80s, 90s, early aughts. And that mural maintenance team has, been around for quite a bit now. I can't say how long, but I know it's at least been maybe 15 years, maybe 20. I'm not sure, but having a cohort of folks who are trained painters to be able to restore these works and assess what kind of paint was used, be able to, I don't know if you ever saw the like restoration of like a Byzantine Jesus painting, but like it was ruined, and it's like we don't want stuff to get further defaced, right? Or like mistakenly restored to a state that wasn't right,
That
right?
wasn't
Like
sure. Right.
It's a skilled work, and it's I wouldn't say it's necessarily super time consuming all the time, but it's in order to have a good, effective and like quality job, you need trained people, you need skilled people. And yeah, sure, that costs money, but there's funds out there that we can dedicate to that, whether it's, city funded or foundation funded or small donor funded. Like it's possible. Like the resources are out there. It's just about creating a design that really is sustainable in practice and accessible too, right? Not just like, oh, we don't do those kinds of artworks, we only do these ones, right? Like making sure that everyone has access to be able to say, hey, my community needs this attention. How can we get that attention and keep the stuff looking good? So
yeah, you said something very important, because some folks think you could just go out and just paint it all over again. That's not the case. This is a skill. It's a science. There's science to it. That's one of my favorite models. Like there's a science to this. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you. Okay, I know I've noticed, being associated with the Arts Council, right? There's this big mural fest that comes through the city every year. It's called Long Beach Powwow. It used to be called Powwow. Now it's called Long Beach Walls. And I know that oftentimes when we get reports of murals, we have to assess like, okay, well, who did the piece? And if it's Long Beach Walls, maybe they didn't do pieces of the science you just described to preserve and repair, or there's not a real efficient way of getting with the artists who came through the Long Beach Walls program. Don't you think that the Long Beach Walls family needs to huddle up with the Arts Council family so that we could have some sort of working relationship? And if you do agree with that, what does that look like to you?
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, full disclosure, I am a Long Beach Walls 2019 alumni. I assisted a 2018 artist, Buffy, who's from France, and I restored quite a few of the Long Beach walls at their headquarters and other murals as well, independently, not as an Arts Council employee, just as myself, an artist. But I do think we need to have those conversations to bridge together and form a process. And really what I think it looks like is having, again, those skilled leaders in our community. We have Darren Hortsetter, who's here in Long Beach, who ran the Santa Ana mural program. And, unfortunately, that's not it stopped for now since the pandemic hit because of the building and access. But we have the people that are skilled. We have Jenny Cotterill teaching a mural class at Cal State Long Beach. I really think that it lands on our community leaders who are already mentoring and creating the next generation of muralists, right? And we have so many artists who are yearning for that ability and time and space to be able to learn and be mentored and are eager to help, right? So it's really about just creating that synergy and opportunity to pay people for their skills and not just ask students to be volunteers too, but give them scholarships to be able to practice this. And it is professional development, right? And so it can be all of that. So that's my 2 cents on it.
That's real talk right there, because how do you amplify that these classes and these entities are out there? If how does everybody gain access or hear about these opportunities out there? That I might have that yearning, right? But I don't know where to go. How do I find out about this information?
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm really trying my hardest to create these grant programs that are for veteran muralists, for hyperlocal communities and community leaders who want to see, change in their community and want new artwork in their community, or maybe want it restored, right? Creating these scholarship grants where people are able to learn, emerging artists are able to learn from veteran artists, and also, creating a program for youth who are, interested in learning more about public art or, just getting into the arts in general, right? So I'm hoping that we really launch this year and at the Arts Council for Long Beach. But other than that, I would really just say it's about reaching out to muralists themselves and offering to volunteer with them, asking for mentorship. I would say, half of the time folks are open to it, but if you're asking for mentoring, being mentored, show up and follow through. Don't just, make it messy and then they don't want to do it, right? They don't want to mentor because it gets messy. Be dedicated and have that intent and follow through. So
Sure. All right, let's switch lanes real quick. So you get the muralist. I know the Arts Council has a very vibrant artist registry. I know that everywhere that I go, when I meet artists, I encourage them. I ask them if they know about the artist registry. I'm always surprised at how many people don't, but also just directing people to sign up there. Talk about the importance, and is that open like you just said with the public art database? Is it open to everybody, and what's the purpose for it?
Yeah, so the Arts Council for Long Beach's Artist Registry is for folks who live, work, or actively create in the city of Long Beach. And I like to say that it's kind of like a business card. I highly recommend to include, maybe artworks on there that you have done in Long Beach, or mention the community groups that you're a part of. feature, the style that is representative of your work. If you're an interdisciplinary artist, so like, if you do photography, jewelry, and painting, like that's all cool to have it all together. But if you're really looking to, be a muralist, if you're looking to be a person who sells jewelry, a jewelerist, I don't know if that's the right word, but like, keep it contained. Like if you're a photographer, you're a photographer. If you do murals, like, and you're a muralist, it gets confusing, right? When you're like trying to sell something to somebody and it's like, I have everything, like buy everything. It's like, oh, like makes people confused. Like what am I supposed to reach out to you about? Right. So
Sure.
I definitely recommend to, keep everything like more branded. Right. And so that's my recommendation when utilizing it. And just making sure to toggle all the identifiers, right? So if you make sculpture and, most of it is 3D, like maybe it's ceramics, you're not necessarily going to put a painter on there, right? Like maybe you do focus on like the painterliness of ceramics, but for the most part, people, it's like glazing, right? Like it's like, it's not about being a painter on ceramics. I don't know if that's like kind of really specific, but you want to discern yourself. That way people can find you. So yeah.
I mean, this is all good because you're encouraging the people and letting them know that this is, step your game up when you come through the Arts Council. That's make sure that your stuff is tight. You're professional or striving to be professional. That's for sure. What are some of the benefits if I'm an artist in the artist registry? What's in it for me?
Yeah. So we're finally in the art proposal phase of the Long Beach Recovery Act mural program. And this week I'll be emailing all the artists who had agreed to be a candidate for the program. And we actually pulled directly from our artist registry and emailed everyone saying, hey, just making sure if you want to be considered an artist for this program, submit on this form. And we just pulled everything from the registry for the pool of artists that were considered. So out of, I think, I'm not going to misquote how many artists we have, but there were only 80 artists who confirmed. And so, I actually think it was a lot of content to go through, but ultimately, I don't think that's a lot. Like, I feel like there's more people out here, right? And so,
how many artists are in there, you think? Thousands?
I feel like there's only 1,000, which I think is really low. Yeah.
So, all right, folks, get on it. So any type of artist, so if I play piano, I can get in there?
Yeah, pianists, visual and performing and folk art. Yeah, and we've been in discussions about extending those parameters and including like makeup artists and interior designers and, even like art businesses where we could have like people who frame art or, kind of expand it a little bit more. But those are, conversations we've been having and seeing how we can implement it.
Wow. All right. Lujan, thank you so much for joining us this morning and talking about, the notion of public art. I want to, it's interesting to me, listen, I'm a seasoned man, let me just say it like that. And, as I look at arts and culture and I think about murals, I go all the way back to, watching the beginnings of hip hop and how graph writers are definitely an essential part of hip hop culture. And in my career, rolling around some of the most, disparate communities in Southern California and noticing beautiful murals on like abandoned buildings and stuff like that. And I used to take pictures of them and call it, hashtag hood art, and now that what's interesting from my perspective, my worldview is to notice how graph writing has become like such a formal, art discipline. Here we are on Coffee Conversations with Greg J, having this discussion about murals and advocating with city governments to, how do you take care of these murals, to people demanding murals in their communities is really, really, really something. But there are people who are probably older or not, it depends on also on their worldview, that will look at this and still call it, graffiti and not seeing the deep artistic value in there. Yeah, have you ever heard that before and engaged in that type of discussion? And if so, what do you tell folks about mural art?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I need to insert myself in communities where it's art, like public art is not welcomed, and try to learn more about that perspective. But fortunately, I don't think I've had to hear a lot of that opinion. Most of the time it's the opposite. But, if folks definitely, think that a mural, changes the community for the worse, which is, what I think people use the term graffiti in the pejorative mean, right? Like, that it's like quote unquote for the worse or makes it look bad. That's not how I use the term graffiti, but yeah, like, I don't know. I think that there's so many people that have like a different perspective on it, where it really uplifts their day-to-day life, their like quotidian life. Like, and I do think that it's really important to make public art where it is connected to community, though. And, I think that also helps to deter defacement of artwork. And I think that there should be like more opportunity for folks to be able to do graffiti. In the Homeland Cultural Center, there used to be the back walls in between the main building and the Manazar Center, where folks were able to like practice their spray can skills, and like that's no longer there. And leadership changed, and folks retired, and that opportunity is gone. It kind of was like a Venice Walls, mural wall where people would rotate their works. And I think that, not having that cultural asset and cultural resource anymore has really impacted the city for the worst. And I think that we should find a new location to be able to do that. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like if somebody doesn't like public art, like, I want to invite them to come to one of our community painting days. I think it'll change them.
Right. Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about the Homeland Cultural Center, and I actually went over there to see the walls myself and talked to the park staff over there in MacArthur Park, right? And I wanted to ask you, because I've heard from a number of artists here in Long Beach that shared with me about that history and how they felt very strongly that a space like that would help deter some of the vandalism that happens on our murals, because among the artists that do that street art, a level of respect, if you will, would come. Street cred. This is what we call street politics. So, if the young people had a space, where they could do this, just do their thing with their spray cans or their paint or whatever, that it would deter and discourage people from destroying the art that's out on these public walls. And you seem to agree with that, eh?
Yeah, I definitely agree with it. And I think that, the city itself doesn't need to be the only place or the only space where this could happen. It could be at a local business, right? Where they do have the wall space, and they do have like, that outdoor area where, folks wouldn't be like susceptible to like, this like trying to keep it as safe as possible, like the spray paint and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's possible for not just like the city to support something like that, but a local business can do it too. So that's something that I've actually low-key advocated a community leader to do, and like try and find a business and property owner who's open to that idea, where sure, it could be like something where it is a little more public facing, or it could just be like something more, low key and in community, and the kind of like you only know if you're in, right? Or like it's like word of mouth kind of thing, right? But having it sanctioned.
I like the latter part right there. I like that. It's got to be like where it's just the community. They know this is where this is where we go. This is our space.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with having that, like protective community, because, some people might slowly stop vandalizing businesses and vandalizing art, right? Like ultimately that is real. Like, and I won't say the next part, but I'll save that one for next time conversation.
All right. All right. Wow. What a great time together this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us and letting us know about this public art thing. I'm learning something new every day. Hey, how many public art pieces are in your database now?
I think there are about like 1,012.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. There's so many missing. So please help us.
That's right. All right. What do they do? Just go to artslb.org and drop you a line?
Yeah. You can email us at publicart@artslb.org, or just, go on our website, get our number on there, and feel free to reach out. We'll send the information for you.
There you go. Got that one in the chat when we get to it. Thank you so much, Cynthia Lujan, Arts Council for Long Beach, Director of Public Art, super artist, just a really good, relevant arts professional. And thank you for the work that you do. And thank you for keeping us informed about how we need to go about preserving public art in our communities. This is valuable information, and we really do appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. There we have it. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. Culturally relevant conversations about arts and culture. This is how we do it there. All right, y'all. Just listen to us. We're on our Facebook page, which is Coffee Conversations with Greg J. We're on Hannibal the Radio. We're at Beach City Perspective, Beach City Radio. Also, beachcityradio.com, our website. We're starting to drop them across Instagram also too, y'all. So please get on your gram and locate us there. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. We also repurposed the audio for audio only podcast. Coffee Conversations with Greg J on Spotify, Apple, Spreaker, TuneIn, just wherever. Just type it in. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. We're around. Love one another, y'all. Love one another. Love one another. Peace and blessings.